good people, good people. It's your boys, the two-headed monster of the CourtSide View, your boy Cool McCain. And I'm joined on the side as always by my guy, the coach, the sports library coach. I'll tell you what up.
What's good, man? What's good, man? We got NCAA going crazy. March Madness going crazy over there as well. For pretty much on the men's side, we had some upsets this week, but today is all about NBA, man. So I'm ready to get caught up into it.
Had to hit y'all with a quick switch. You know, man. Let's go. Let's go. But yeah, man, a lot going on, of course, like you said, in the world of sports. But we here to talk NBA. So the first thing we have to discuss, and I mean we have to discuss, is your favorite scumbag in mine, Draymond Green, getting a foul, chirping at the refs, making lewd marks and disrespectful thoughts, disrespectful comments, and getting kicked out 4 minutes into the game. 4 minutes into the game. Coach Dante, you got to give me your thoughts on the scumbag himself.
First of all, you can tell by Steph Curry reaction. You know, he was trying to get him to relax and get off the referees. It worked for a little bit, but until he called the referee, you dumb, you know, you said those magic words. And how many times how many times Draymond Green is going to go in the show and personally apologize when you keep doing the same shit over and over, the same thing? And Curry was trying to hide his tears, and that hurted them because, again, they know how much Draymond Green means to this team and to this organization, and you keep doing the same crap over and over to hurt your team. I realize that my Houston Rockets is right behind you. So I don't know if you're feeling a little bit pressure or not, but again, Draymond Green is going to find himself soon up out of the league with his antics. He's going to. I believe that. And I believe Golden State in this offseason should consider moving on from him. You can't continue to have that in your locker room. This man has been ejected 21 times in his career. That is unheard of. That is crazy. I know, remember Rasheed Wallace. That brings me back to Rasheed Wallace, you know, who used to get ejected all the time over arguing calls. But he's not only that. He's not only arguing calls. He's playing dirty basketball. It was one play against the Miami Heat where he grabbed, Mills by his neck, and he didn't get put out the game for that. Draymond Green needs to take accountable for his actions, but I believe one day, soon enough, he's gonna be a part of the league, or a team is not gonna want to take his antics being up on that team, and it's really breaking the Warriors. And I think by Steph Curry demeanor and by him crying on the court and trying to keep the team up, I really believe it's hurting this team, and it's really hurting Steph Curry because that's a friend, that's a player that he's played with, that he's won championships. And Draymond Green just cannot get his shit together. So, again, I believe sooner or later he will be up out of the league, or no team will want to take that. And I wouldn't want to take that antic in my locker room. No doubt about it. He's a solid player when he's on the court. He's a very good player while he's on the court. But the attitude, you're starting to see it way too much. You're starting to see the dirty plays way too much. And I think he's going to find himself up out of the league one day. I really believe so.
I mean, yeah, I have to agree with that. Like, you get to the point where it's like you do perform, you do have a specific role that you play on the team, right? But at the same time, how many times, how long can you continue to be what you are as far as the distractions go, right? I mean, like you said, you got stuff over there about to cry. You know what I'm saying? At least very frustrated, very emotional. And you're not doing what you need to do to help your team win. You're in the 10th spot. you're almost out of the playoff picture with the core of the team that was winning championships like 3, 4 years ago. So you have to do something different. It comes a point in time as a player where you got to grow up a little bit, where you got to say, my job is, I was a wild dude in my younger days. Even Rasheed did it. I was a wild dude in my younger days, but now I need to help my team win. So in order for me to help my team win, I have to grow and mature and be a leader. This same dude that was punching cats on his team last year in practice. This is the same dude that they put out a false rumor that he choked Steve Curry. Everybody believed it because of how wild he is. You know how bad it is for somebody to believe that you would choke your coach, that you would Latrell Sprewell your coach, and people believe it just because of all
Yeah.
the foolishness you've done. That's what we're dealing with this cat.
Yep.
You know,
And people was believing that stuff yesterday too. And Draymond Green is the type of person, he's already punched Jordan Poole. I wouldn't be surprised if he does go that route though. I wouldn't be surprised due to the fact that he already broke the team and broke Jordan Poole pretty much about punching him. I wouldn't be surprised if something was to go that route, or if he got into it with another teammate and he went further. I wouldn't be surprised. But again, people believe in that rumor because it's just antics. And his antics keep showing every time he steps up on a basketball court. It just keeps showing over and over. And every time that TV pops on and you see the Warriors, you like what Draymond Green is gonna do next. What this man is gonna do next.
you never know what he's gonna do, man. You never know, and that's the sad part. Like, because like I said, man, I said this earlier. He has a role in the league, right? What he does is important, but there are other guys who can do that don't. At this point in time, that don't bring all the other drama with him. So while he's good at what he does, which is shoot threes, make him some time, emotional leader for the team, that kind of that joke, that boost when they need it. But then you turn around half the time, and you're the reason why the team is in a bad situation. They did win the other night without him, but that was because another one of them stiff performances. And you can't expect him to be able to do that like he could 5 years ago, right? I mean, it's unfortunate. And this team had a lot of young talent. And Jordan Poole was a piece of that. They ran away from that team for one reason or another.
Yep.
But they're not there. So now you don't have those other pieces that theoretically the draft picks and stuff, you would be able to use those to get guys that could spell them and help them play less minutes. You don't even have those guys. So what are you gonna do?
Yep. It's just crazy how Draymond Green just keep doing the same stuff over and over. But again, you just trying to find your way to get in the playoffs right now, and you're still having problems staying on the court for your squad. And now that's getting to the point where it becomes a breaking point with Steph Curry. I never seen Steph Curry cry in a day in my life, but Steph Curry is broken. He is definitely broken by that.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. Um, there's a lot you can say about Draymond Green, but I just simply say, man, your team needs you, bro. Like you need to understand that whatever the reason it makes you feel like you got to act the fool all the time, think about how it affects the team when you're doing this stuff, and maybe that can stop you or calm you down at times. Your son watching too, bro. Kind of example you be your son watching too, bro. Now, from Draymond Green, I know you got a couple things you want to say on this one. We got Mr. Monty Williams, one of the worst, if not the worst teams in all of the NBA. A team that might not even be able to make the Sweet 16 in college basketball. And he complained about Dante DiVincenzo stat pad. Coach Dante, you talk to the people on your feelings on that.
Well, first of all, you want to talk about somebody got during stat padding. First of all, what you need to be worried about is how to be a better head coach and coach up a young squad. I understand when the Chris Paul younger years, you was a very good coach over there in New Orleans. when you had a young Tyson Chandler over there and created one of the best point guards that could play basketball. And I understand you had Devin Booker and Chris Paul on the Phoenix Suns, and you had to go through with DeAndre Ayton. And the very next year, you wet the bed again. But now you're supposed to be a great head coach. You don't know what you're doing and how to coach young talent. You have no idea how to play Jaden Ivey, which is you misplayed him. You started him on the bench, which made no sense at all. You played Killian Hayes, who should not have been on the team that long, who's no more than a rotational piece. And you decide to hire Coach Steven Silas, who has lost 20 games in a row each and every season when he was with Houston. But other than that, well, if a DiVincenzo stat padding, how about you get out there and you stop somebody? How about you stop every team in the league from scoring? How about you use your rotations better? How about you coach better? So that's what I wanted to say about Monty Williams. You say he's stat padding. I don't care if he's stat padding or not. You allow him to do it. You allow him to do it, or you do something about it. You tell one of your players if he's gonna stat pad, knock him down, knock him out, and send him a message. But you allowed it as a coach, and the players allowed it. So yes, you deserve to get stat padded on because the team allowed it and you allowed it, and you did nothing about it.
Couldn't have said that one better myself. I would just like to add to that and say, why are you worried about that? You need to be win padding.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be worried about if you're going to be there next year to complain about Dante DiVincenzo stat padding if he's there next year. But you're not doing a very good job, sir. And this does not endear you to your locker room. Nobody is saying, oh, man, yeah, coach, you're right. Dante DiVincenzo, he should be stat padding on probably the worst team in the NBA. He should be out there trying to help his team win when they don't win much. So priorities, Coach Williams, priorities. Your priority should be how to properly use your lineup so maybe you don't have to stat pad.
Yep. And it ain't like Monty Williams don't have good players on his team, man. You got a young stud over there and Jalen Duren over there, man. He's a very good young basketball player that gets double after double. Jaden Ivey is pretty good, is pretty real good. You have Cade Cunningham, who he may be wasting his career in Detroit. He's too good to waste his career. That man gonna end up getting worn down and probably I don't want to say getting hurt because again that'll be a too stretch. But again, by averaging that many points a game and have to do it pretty much be the main scorer on that team, that's going to wear Cade Cunningham down. But he needs to worry about being a better coach and elevating a young squad, elevating a young team while you're worrying about a playoff contending team, someone that is winning ball games. And Coach Tom Thibodeau, who knows what he's doing with his organization, who knows what he's doing with his team, he needs to go out there and worry about what he can do to get the Detroit Pistons organization better and win football and win basketball games. That's what he needs to worry about going out there and do instead of worry about someone's stat pad. And anyway it goes, like I said, he allowed it, the team allowed it, and I don't blame DiVincenzo from stat pad because I was stat pad too. If you did nothing about it as a coach and your team did nothing about it, if they allowed it, I would do the same thing too.
Can't argue with that, man. I cannot argue with that. So, a lot of things have happened within the weekend in the NBA. But one very interesting thing happened a couple of nights ago. We had the Milwaukee Bucks and the Los Angeles Lakers playing. And the Milwaukee Bucks, solid lead. They had they should have won the game without going overtime or anything. But at the end of the game, they weren't able to get any stops. And you know how 3-pointers are. Dame time, it only works. Best 3-point shooters make about around 40%. So this was one of the times where it wasn't a part of that 40%. So coach talked to us people, and me too. As you watching that game, as you're seeing that play out, what should Milwaukee have done differently in order to secure that victory.
They had to stop somebody on the defensive side of the ball. That's what they should have really done differently. That's what they should have done differently is play better defense. Again, but you downgraded on defense when Drew Holiday was traded. Um, you can't stop nobody on the perimeter. Actually, you can't really do that. Again, Milwaukee is just a team that's been going through the same stuff each and every game. I mean, not being able to stop anybody on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, you gave up 128 points. That's a lot of points to be given up, especially I believe without a LeBron James not playing basketball. Anthony Davis 34 and 23. You had D'Lo had 29. Austin Reeves, who's been inconsistent all year with 29 points. You're allowing people easily to get in double digits, having double digit performance. And you shot 29% from the 3-point line, which is you did make 15, but it wasn't a good percentage you shot from the free throw line at all. Then you got out rebounded. You got out rebounded by 8. They got out rebounded by 8 points in this game. They had 14 total turnovers. You had a 19-point lead in this ball game, and you lost a 19-point lead because you were not playing well on the defensive side of the ball, and you're struggling to even make free throws. You don't even make free throws. You went 11 for 17 at the free throw line while the Lakers were being aggressive, attacking the paint. They went 30 of 32 for the free throw line. So again, when that comes out down to it, that's a loss for the Milwaukee Bucks. But first of all, on the defensive side of the ball, you can't stop anybody on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that's one of the clear letdowns for the Milwaukee Bucks, not being able to stop anybody on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I also think coaching is a big problem. For me, I believe that in order to be successful, you have to get a guy to coach you that can get the most out of you, right? And I think when you look at Doc Rivers, it's never been his thing. It's a guy that, like I said, man, we talked about this when he got the job. Like this guy basically has lived off of one ring in Boston. And I think the people who have benefited the most for that is him, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. They have made a career off that one championship. You know, Rondo got the championship with the Lakers. We know what Ray Allen did with the Heat. But those three guys, they've lived off that, and especially Doc Rivers. Opportunity after opportunity when he does not succeed, he keeps getting because he's an NBA championship winning coach. He is. There's no lie in that. But this is the same problem that he had, if you'll indulge me, back with the Clippers. Several star players, they put up the numbers offensively. They don't get after it defensively. You went and brought in a guy who gives you more offensive punch, but as I said at the time of that move, offense does not win championships. Everybody in this league can score. The dudes that's 14, 15 on the bench can score points if you put them in the game. But when you got a guy that basically can defend every wing position, and you get rid of him for a guy who can score more, but doesn't give the real effort on the defensive end, this is what you get. They have to continue to be aggressive offensively and continue to score on you in order to have an opportunity to win. They're the second best team in the East, but do they have a real opportunity to come out of the East without being more defensive minded? To me, the answer to that question is no, they don't. You can't outscore.
Yep. They don't got the answer to that. And first of all, that just really brings you back to that. That just really brings you back to that Adrian Griffin, they were 30 and 13. Even though throughout the bad problems that they did have, they still was 30 and 13 with them. So, again, it's just the players I didn't believe the players respected Adrian Griffin. They didn't like him. I mean, he got into an argument with Bobby Portis, and when you're getting into arguments with with a veteran that has won a championship, and when veteran that has won a championship, that's not good for you. So again, Adrian Griffin, I believe he should have been. He should get another head coaching job with a younger squad. With a younger squad, not with a championship contending team. That reminds me, going to be remind me of too much of David Blatt when LeBron James forced him up out of Cleveland when he was 31 in 11. And again, now you're 14 and 13 since Doc Rivers came to the squad. So you did not improve at all. You were just right there, one game over 500. And you've been with a coach that has blown playoff series after playoff series. You know, some not actually really on him. Like I say, I don't blame the Sixers series on him, because if you got the MVP of the league and not stepping up in every playoff series and him not demanding the basketball, then that's just on Joel Embiid from crying about the MVP. First of all, he cried about the MVP. First of all. So that would made it worse. And he did everything he could to win that series. But again, you blew the Clippers series. You blew the Clippers series against the Denver Nuggets. Yes, that is on him. You blew the Rockets series when he was up 3-1. Yes, that is on him because he didn't make no adjustment. So it's a lot of playoff series that went up on Doc Rivers. Some he had a little bit of bad luck, but he does have a lot of history of losing 3-1, 3-2 playoff series and stuff like that. So again, it is not looking good for the Milwaukee Bucks. And this don't look like a championship basketball team at all. This looks like a first round and out basketball team, depending on who they play.
That is a very, 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 very good point that you make there, sir. Yeah, unfortunately, hate to be right, but sometimes when you unfortunately hate to be right, you're still right. So this week, let's just focus on our play-in teams, right? So I want to get your thoughts on what we have going on with the teams that are now in the playing games. So in the Eastern Conference, and I'm going to go ahead and include Indianapolis because they're so close to it. The teams we have that are in contention or in the playoff right now, or in the play-in right now, is the Atlanta Hawks at 10th at 30 and 39. The Chicago Bulls at 34 and 36. The Miami Heat at 38 and 32. The 76ers at 38 and 31. And then the Indiana Pacers at 39 and 31. So of those five teams, of course, four will be in the play-in. One will be the sixth seed as things sit right now. And then you got 4.5 games between the Nets and the Hawks. So I'm pretty confident that it's going to be these teams. Maybe just the order is going to change a little bit, right? So what are your thoughts on the four teams that are in the playoff, and then the Pacers? Who do you think is going to be the one that ends up with the seventh seed? And who do you think has an opportunity to win their series? That one game, playing.
So I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say the Miami Heat will win their first playing series. I would say they will have a chance because we son. That's the obvious answer because, of course, we've seen it before. We've seen the Miami Heat make it to the finals. Even though when they're not so talented squad, we've seen the Miami Heat do what they do. The Sixers can win a play-in series. They can win one playing game. They can win a playing game. Once they definitely get Joel Embiid back, they'll be good enough to win a playing game. But just won't be good enough to do nothing else, do too much else. But other than that, I think the Sixers will stay afloat in the play-in tournament. I think they would definitely make it. I think the Heat is definitely going to make it. The Atlanta Hawks definitely going to make it because the Brooklyn Nets stink so bad. They're going to definitely make it. They stink so bad. So other than that, I see the Sixers and Heat, getting in that play-in tournament. And the Pacers I see the Pacers staying at that 6th spot due to Miami Heat struggling a little bit.
So I think for me, I know we got basically 2 games left, right? For some teams. Because we got a 2-game season. So we're literally right at the end. I think for me, I think Miami has enough with only being a game back to be the team that gets out of the play-in. So I think Indianapolis is going to fall into the play-in, and the Heat are going to hop up to sixth place. I also think that Philadelphia will win the series between them and Indiana. Then you'll be looking at Chicago and Atlanta. I think in a one-game playoff, I think Atlanta could win that game, and I think Philadelphia would beat Atlanta. So I think Philadelphia and Indianapolis would be the two teams that would end up with the two play-in spots. I don't really think the Bulls or the Hawks. I don't think the Hawks can win. Well, honestly, even if it plays out opposite, I don't think the Bulls and the Hawks, either one, could win two games. One would beat each other, but I don't think either one of them are good enough to beat the Pacers or the 76ers after already having played another game like a day or two before.
Yeah.
So I just think Miami's going to be able to, in these last two games, only being a game out.
Yeah.
That they can win the last two. Indianapolis can lose the last two, and they can slide up into that sixth spot. That probably be wrong, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Now we're touching on the top six. I know we talked about Milwaukee. We don't really feel like they're a contender because of their defensive deficiencies this year. So no question, Boston's a contender, right?
Yeah, no question. In the Eastern Conference, yes.
Yes. So besides Boston, we got Milwaukee at 45 and 25, right?
Yeah.
We got Cleveland at 43 and 27. We got Orlando at 42 and 28. The Knicks at 41 and 28. Of those five, because I'm not going to put Miami or Indianapolis in there because I think they're all really their playing level. But of those top five, who do you see besides Boston as a contender, if anyone, to win the East?
I will still hold on to the Milwaukee Bucks because I think if everything breaks right for them, they could be a scary team for Boston to play. Right. You got to get a Knicks a shot. You know what? I'm gonna get a Knicks a shot. I like the Knicks. I think the Knicks are pretty good, man. I really like the New York Knicks. I think they're a pretty good team. I like what Tom Thibodeau is doing over there. Once they get OG Anunoby back, that team is going to be a scary team. They're going to be a very good team. They're going to be a different team. His defense, his three-point shooting is really good. He's going to impact the game in so many ways on both sides of the ball. What Josh Hart is doing is phenomenal over there with the New York Knicks. So I would say Boston and New York, man. I would say Boston and New York is the two teams that can really contend with the Boston Celtics. I'm going to say New York and Milwaukee.
So I want to go to another team. I want to go to the Orlando Magic. You got Wendell Carter Jr. at center, right? You got Jalen Suggs, who's a really solid player. Gary Harris, who crazily is only 29, but feels like he's been in the league for like 20 years. You got Joe Ingles, the OG, right? You got Banchero, Franz Wagner, Goga Batadze is the backup center, right? Anthony Black is a big point guard. Cole Anthony, a lot of point guards on this team. I think this is a team that can surprise people, make some noise, and are contender. Now, are they going to win? No, because they don't have the experience. But can they contend? I would say they can. Because if you really look at this team has been hanging around the top 5, 6 most of the year. And I believe in like the progression. I believe you do too. We talked about like the progression. Like you don't come in your first year being a really solid team and win championships, but you do learn progression. And the progression is you come in, you're a really good player. Really, the team's not that good. You start to get some more good players around you. You get a couple of veterans, right? A guy like Ingles who has playoff experience, a guy like Gary Harris who has playoff experience. You add them to a young team of guys who are learning and developing and don't know no better yet. For lack of a better term, they just don't know no better yet.
Yeah.
They just think you go out there and play basketball, right? So I think their team, and when I'm looking at them and I'm saying that I think that they could compete, I think they could get like to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, they match up against like Boston or Milwaukee, they get spanked. but I think they can get there, right? Because I think they're good enough in what they do that they can get there. And the other point I want to make is to say the season ended today. We know we got a couple more games, 2 more, but if the season ended today, they would be, well, a few more games. We got about what, 12 more games. My math is so off. We got about 12 more games.
That would be the
But
fifth.
yeah. Right now, if the season ended today, they'd be the 4th and they'd be playing the Knicks at 5. So they would have to beat
Yeah.
the New York Knicks to get out of the first round. So if they can beat the Knicks in the first round, I say they have a good chance to win a championship. We got 12 more games to see where everybody landed. So basically, the only way Boston does not win the East is if they lose every game that they have left, and Milwaukee wins every game that they have left.
Yep. I believe if they get a favorable matchup, I believe they can win that. Orlando can win a favorable matchup if they do get a favorable matchup that they will definitely play. I don't think that I don't see them in a series. I think they can beat the Sixers in a 7-game series. To be honest with you, the way Joel Embiid shut down in the playoffs and the way he shut down the playoffs, I believe they can beat the Sixers in a 7-game series. I would go that far because I trust Joel Embiid not to show up in a playoff series. And plus, they got good young talent over there, man. Jamal Moses done a hell of a job with that Orlando Magic squad. Jonathan Isaac is a capable defender when he's on the court. He has not blossomed as a lottery pick yet. He has not blossomed pretty much yet, but he helps them on the defensive side of the ball and give them good shooting. Pablo Banchero, just a stud over there. And you got Franz Wagner, not Mo Wagner, Franz Wagner, who's a good young scorer. And you also got some great veteran talent on that team, and Joe Ingles, who's going to help. And Jalen Suggs has really stepped up with that team, too. He's really had a bounce-back season because there was times that they were about to trade him. It was a time that he was in a lot of trade talk, so he really had a bounce-back season. I forgot they had Wendell Carter and, Gary Harris, who's also a very good young veteran who played on a very good playoff contending Denver Nuggets. So, again, you got a good mixture of veteran and a lot of good young players. And I believe the future of Anthony Black. I believe Anthony Black is gonna be good for that Orlando team in the young future.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, man. 100% agree with that. I mean, it's gonna be interesting, but I think because if you look at right now as it stands before any games tonight, right? The Knicks, so Milwaukee's basically the catchable team. The Cavs are 1 game back of Milwaukee. The Magic are 2 games back of Milwaukee. The Knicks are 2.5. Well, excuse me. The Cavs are 2 games back. The Magic are 3. The Knicks are 3.5 games back. So you look at that, you're saying like, yo, that's not far at all. So I think we can have a lot of movement, like as far as the seeding. If Orlando can get up to 3, that will put them in a series against like Indiana or maybe Miami. Now, if that's Indiana at 6, 3 is a favorable position.
Yeah.
If that's Miami at 6, I'm gonna stay at 4. I'd rather play New York in the playoffs than Miami.
Yeah. I'd rather play Philadelphia in the series as well.
I mean,
I'd rather play them. Yeah.
Wherever you can get to play Philadelphia in the playoffs, yeah, you want to get there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you'll play them. You ain't scared. You ain't gonna be scared of them. You ain't gonna be scared of them.
My thing is, I feel like they might end up 8th. So that just gives Boston. That just gives Boston the.
Yeah, that gives them a first round exit. This time it won't be in the second round. It will be a first round exit this time.
Honestly, I think if they match up against Boston, Milwaukee, or Orlando, I think that's a 1 and done for Philadelphia because those are the 3 teams that I feel like can exploit the weaknesses of Philadelphia in the first round.
Yeah, I don't think they will play I don't think they will have a chance to play Miami. I think that's another team that will beat them in a series as well. Because in a 7-game series, I think that just
Miami, you're not getting out of the 7-game series in Miami.
Yeah,
because they just They might mess around and beat Boston if they meet them in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
So I do think you always have to consider Miami
Yeah,
as
yeah.
one, but I don't say them just because like we know that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we know
I agree with you. I
what
don't
world
see
you're
them
in.
either, but I don't see them either. But you definitely got to mention them because they have showed it too many times that they can do it no matter what seeding it is. They have showed it so many times that they can really do it.
Yep. So then out west, it's a little different. And when I say a little different, you got to add Houston to this mix too. So out west, you got Houston at 34 and 35 in 11th place. You've got the Golden State Warriors at 36 and 32 in 10th. The LA Lakers at 37 and 32 at ninth. The Sacramento Kings at 40 and 29 at 8th. And you got the Phoenix Suns at 41 and 29 in 7th. You've also got the Dallas Mavericks at 41 and 29 in 6th. But New Orleans Pelicans are 43 and 27 in 5th. And on the cusp, but I'm going to leave them out of this, is the LA Clippers at 43 and 25 because they have 2 less losses. So they still have more games left to play. But I have to include New Orleans just because they're only 2 games ahead of Dallas, who is literally the same record as the Suns. So when you look at who you think is going to be 10, 9, 8, and 7 out of that 6 teams, New Orleans, Dallas, Phoenix, Sacramento, Los Angeles, and Golden State, I think we're pretty solid in Houston. So actually, 7 teams. I think we're looking at Houston or Golden State getting in, right? Maybe Houston, Golden State, or LA. 2 of those 3 getting in. And then Sacramento, Phoenix, Dallas, and New Orleans, 2 of those 4 being 7 and 8. But we know how these things break. Sometimes teams have bad losing streaks at the wrong time. So for these teams, who do you think is going to be the 4 that's going to be 10 through 7? Of these
All right,
7 teams.
so I'm gonna actually go with the Clippers to hold on to the 4th seed. I
Mm-hmm.
believe I sense a struggle from New Orleans without Brandon Ingram a little bit. I sense a
Mm-hmm.
struggle without him. That's a big loss. I'm going to go with uh, the Sacramento Kings catching Phoenix. The loss in San Antonio told me all you need to know about how bad Phoenix is right now. Even though they're 40, they did get a big win against Denver, but again,
They
that's
did.
the night they beat a very good team. But then again, they'll downgrade and they'll lose against a team you don't be supposed to be losing to. So I'm really not sold on how good Phoenix is. So I'm gonna say that the Kings will pass them. I'm gonna say the Lakers probably move up to 8, and I'm gonna say the Rockets move to 10. But the only way I think the Rockets will lose out on the play-in tournament and lose out on a 10 seed is only because the Warriors' schedule is better than Houston. They got a favorable matchup schedule than we are. We still got to play. We still got to plus. We got to play them. We do got to play Dallas. We do got to play. We do still got to play Dallas. A lot. We got to play them twice, I believe. We got to play them again twice. So I believe that's a trend of games we got to go through. The only reason I think Golden State is going to win out and outbeat us for the playoffs is because their schedule stronger. But again, they can lose against anybody as well because of Draymond Green's antics, and they know they can. They know he won't be able to keep himself on the basketball court. And my Rockets, we don't come out with the right mindset. We can also lose to anybody down the stretch as well. So again, this race is going to go out tight anyway it goes. Like I already said, I'm proud of the Houston Rockets on how they really competed and played this year. But yeah, those are the and I think OKC is going to pass Minnesota. I think OKC is going to pass Minnesota as well.
So I'm gonna go. So for my bottom, I'm gonna go Houston over Golden State. So I'm gonna slide Golden State. I'm gonna leave the Lakers at 9. Actually, no, I'm gonna move the Lakers up to 8 like you did. Houston at 10. I'm gonna drop Sacramento to 9. The Lakers to 8, and then I'm gonna put Phoenix at 7. But because I think Dallas is going to stay at 6, and New Orleans is going to, well, Dallas is going to move to 5. New Orleans is going to stay at 6, and going to drop to 6. I think Phoenix won't be playing well, but because you have that lead over the Lakers right now of like 4 games in the win column, and the Lakers are about, let's see, 3.5 games back of Phoenix right now. I think they'll be able to do enough to get over Sacramento, but I don't think they'll be able to do enough to get to 7, because of that difference. I think they'll be right there, but it'll be like a game difference. I think Dallas will move up 1 because of, like you said, the injury. If Zion was hurt too, I'd obviously move him down lower, but I think we're going to keep it clean. But I think Golden State's just going to slide out, and Houston's going to slide into that slot. And I think Houston could beat Sacramento in a playing game. So that could be a fun playing game if it works out the way I think it will.
I think we can. We the type of team we can really beat anybody. If we come out with the right mindset. I think our defense is pretty solid. Solid as well. And with the veteran leadership that we got and the toughness and grit that we play with, I really think we can go out there and really beat anybody. So yeah, I think we can compete. I think we compete. Depends on the matchup that we're playing. But we showed that we can beat Sacramento, and we also showed that we can beat some very good teams this year. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah. So then, of course, we've got the top 6. So my top 6 is the same. The order different at the 5 and 6, but still the same top 6 teams for me. So of the top 6, we'll just go to the top 6 they have right now, right? We got Oklahoma City first place at 49-20, Denver at 49-21, half a game back. Minnesota 48-22, a game and a half back. Then we got the Clippers at 43-25, 5.5 games back. New Orleans at 43-27, 6.5 back. Then Dallas at 41-29, 8.5 back. Of the 6 teams that right now are in the top 6 slots, who do you think are the favorites to go to the Western Conference Finals?
My favorites is going to be Denver. I'm not picking Minnesota. I'm not picking Minnesota because I am not sold on Minnesota at all. Even if Karl Anthony Towns come back, I think he's not gonna.
That might make him worse.
They may make him worse. That may make him even worse. Gobert not being able to defend, not being able to really defend outside of the paint. I really think that's gonna kind of expose him a little bit in the playoffs. So I'm going to say I don't think OKC is ready yet. I think I don't think they're ready yet. I think they're second rounding out team. So I'm going to go with Denver. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the Clippers. Now you do have if Brandon Ingram stayed healthy, you had the New Orleans Pelicans who can shot people and probably get there. But I'm going to say the Clippers could be dangerous with everything is on. And that's probably it. I don't see the Lakers getting there. I don't see the Lakers getting there. So I'm gonna say Denver and the Clippers. And there's not too many teams I can really trust. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say Dallas with Kyrie Irving and Luka. If they get the right matchups, I'm gonna say they can make it as well because Luka already showed he can lead the team to the Western Conference Finals. He could take them down if everything breaks right. I'm gonna go with those 3 teams.
I think Denver. I think the Clippers, if healthy, and I think Oklahoma City can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, Western Conference Finals. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Eastern Conference Finals. Ironically, I want to say Western Maroons in the Eastern Conference. So I don't know what's going on with the mentals today. But obviously, Denver champions, right? They were there last year. I think Oklahoma City, we talked about like young teams that were going to be there, but not quite yet. So I think this could be the year that like Oklahoma City is good enough to get there. I don't think they're ready to win because it's a bigger stage. It's different, but you have to go through those stages. You have to play, lose, next round, lose, right? You don't just go from not making the playoffs or losing in the first round and winning the championship. That's not how it normally goes, especially young teams. So I think that would be a good Oklahoma City getting to the Western Conference Finals. Even if they only win one game, is a big win for that team this year because of where they were at last year, right? And then obviously the Clippers, if healthy, is the third one. But it's all dependent upon the health of that team because they got some guys that are some very good players, some dogs when they're healthy. The health is always a question for the core of talent that you have with the Clippers. So yeah,
No.
I'll go ahead, coach.
Oh yeah. I think no. I think again. I can. I don't depend on the Clippers to stay healthy a full series. I mean, but again, we keep saying this. What if they could? We know how dangerous Kawhi Leonard is in the playoffs. We know how dangerous he could get, and due to the fact, when he got hurt his first year, Paul George did end up taking the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals for the first time, and they end up if they would have had probably Kawhi Leonard, they could have ended up possibly winning that series against Phoenix. But other than that, that's a team that could be on the road and be dangerous. And, if everything is healthy and right. But again, we don't. Phoenix is we know what they are. We know they're inconsistent. They're not a very good team. I don't like their depth. There's only a few teams in the Western Conference that I really like that I think that can make the Western Conference Finals. There's only a few teams. It's not a lot of teams. Everybody else is playoff teams, playing tournament teams, that's good because the West is so deep. But again, there's only a few teams that I really can trust to get to the Western Conference Final. If Brandon Ingram would have stayed healthy, that would have been my pick. I probably would have picked the New Orleans Pelicans to be a dark horse for the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, there seems to be another team that health is really getting to them. It's crazy just because, man, you want to see the best that you can see, right? You want to see the best that can be put out for our consumption, right? We want to see the best play the best, but these injuries. I mean, I know the thing is, these guys aren't even made like they used to be made. Like back in the day, you could play. It was all good. Now it's like, hey, you play a couple of games, time to take a break. I got an ankle sprain, a groin pull, or something. They're just not built like they used to be. I don't know. It's crazy. You still muted, coach.
I say, yep, it's real crazy. It's real crazy. It's real crazy.
So, coach, I know a little shorter than we normally are, but we don't always have to be here for a long time. Just a good time. Anything else you want to discuss before we head on out of here for the evening?
Oh yeah, man. Like I say, man, it's just we winding down to the tail end of the season. Playing tournament spots is on the line. The East, pretty predictable in the play-in tournament. It's easy to predict for the East. In the West, you just don't know who's gonna get those play-in tournament spots. It's still up and grab. Even the 4 seeds and stuff is still up to grab and stuff like that. So it's pretty deep in the West. In the East, you just already know. You just pretty much already know probably who's the front runner and the play-in tournament team. So the East is kind of sweet a little bit.
Hey, I completely agree, man. So everybody watching, man, appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you go to their YouTube page, youtube.com/at Sports Wave Network. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Go and help their YouTube get popping. Also, you can catch us here on Friday nights, giving y'all a little NBA talk. We're gonna be hitting y'all the rest of regular season, catching y'all up on the playoffs. awards, all that good stuff. So for my boy Coach Date, for those who were not able to be with us tonight, we're gonna holler at y'all. We'll see y'all next week. And we out.